Hi, my name is Serena and I'm the founder of reachastudent.com. Today, Mrs. Davies, the director of middle school, has agreed to answer some questions that were suggested to us by middle school students at Windermere Prep. And here's what she had to say. I would like to thank you for taking the time to do this interview with us today. And I would personally like to thank you for your support and encouragement in helping me to put together Reach a Student. Because without your help, none of this would have been possible. So thank you once again. So I have a few questions that I would like to ask you. Can you tell us how long you have been at Windermere Prep, and have you always been the director of middle school?
Well, yes, I can. I've actually been here for 15 years. I helped to open Windermere Prep in the year 2000, but I did not start my journey here as the director. I began as a middle and high school language arts teacher and helped to build the school and get all of the programs established. And once our population was big enough and we had a need for a middle school director, I moved into that position.
Speaking on the behalf of middle school students, I would like to say that we have a fantastic learning environment. And so I would like to know what you consider to be vital elements of such a welcoming and successful middle school.
That is a great question. I actually think that the most important ingredient is the students, because I think you all are fabulous. But what makes it welcoming for all of you is a program that is tailored to middle school needs, like understanding what someone your age, middle school age, needs, wants, and aspires for at this time in your life. Also, a fabulous faculty is a must. I know that even though I've worked in both middle and high school, I know that I love middle school the best, and all of the teachers here share that sentiment with me. So we love being in middle school, they embrace being in middle school, and they really make it a middle school family.
That is amazing. Based on your middle school experience, do you think that it is harder for students today or in the past?
I think it's definitely harder today. If I think back to my experience, even though I worked hard and did well, I feel like I could just memorize a bunch of facts and information and do well on tests, even though I didn't have deep learning. Now I think it's much harder on students because you do so much. Not only are you learning in 7 different classes, a top-notch middle school student is also involved in athletics and extracurricular clubs and activities. You have very, very busy lives, so definitely more challenging now.
Do you have any suggestions for students on how to balance their extracurricular activities, such as sports and clubs, with their extracurriculars?
That's a great question. And lots of times people feel overwhelmed with so much to do, and their first response to that is, oh, well then I just won't do anything. I'm just going to go to school and go home and do nothing. That way I'll have plenty of time to do my homework and stay organized. But I believe that's a mistake. I think you're actually much more successful if you dabble in other things. If you're involved in clubs or scouting or dance or athletics or chess, whatever it is, it does not matter. You should have an outside interest that really keeps you going and motivates you. And actually, research shows that if you have to balance both your classes and those extracurriculars, that you're much better at scheduling your time, and you don't even have time to procrastinate.
Wow, that's very interesting. When I was talking to other middle school students and I asked them if they had any questions for you, something that came up was the amount of homework that they have, leaving them with very little free time. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts first, it makes me very upset, to be honest with you, because I never want somebody's schedule to be so bogged down with homework that they don't have enough time for themselves to develop as people, and then also to spend time with friends, and most importantly, spend time with family. So if a student ever feels overwhelmed with the amount of homework, the first thing they should do is go to their teachers and say, listen, you're giving me this much homework and it's taking me this much time. Really explain what they're doing to their teachers, and the teacher will help them to manage their time. And I guarantee there's not one teacher that wants anybody to spend too much time on homework.
Do you have any tips that you think incoming sixth graders should follow in order to prepare themselves for success in middle school? Perhaps something that they can do over the summer or even while they are still in fifth grade?
Great question. Because lots of times, in my experience, I've noticed that fifth graders can be a little bit anxious about coming to middle school because it's very different. All of a sudden they have 7 teachers, lockers, lunch, 50 minutes for each class, and they get a little nervous. So my advice would be to come over here and visit the campus or visit whatever middle school campus you're at just to get used to it. Some things that you can do to get ready is any kind of summer session, just kind of an orientation program that gets you used to what is offered in middle school. And of course, as a former language arts teacher, my number one piece of advice on how to strengthen yourself as a learner and a person is to spend time reading. Open a book.
How is middle school preparing the 8th graders for high school?
Oh, very good question. I believe the 8th grade, well actually the whole middle school program gives a very well-balanced liberal arts curriculum for the students. So they get a sampling of a lot of different topics. So they're very well-rounded before we send them off to high school. But I have to say, one of the most important elements of our program is the Turning a Page program. And even though many 8th graders may groan when they hear that, because it's a lot of work, when a student has to go through that reflective learning process of really owning their learning, understanding how they learn, and showcasing to the teachers what they've learned as an 8th grader, that sets them up with so much confidence and success for high school.
Is there anything that you think middle schoolers could do now to prepare themselves for the college admissions process?
Actually, I think the middle schoolers are doing something already for the college admissions process that they don't even realize that they're doing, and that is creating their portfolios. Because if you have a very rich, robust portfolio collection, it has all sorts of artifacts of your learning and everything that you're involved with for 3 years, you're just going to continue to add to that to showcase to colleges who you are at each stage in your life. They will be overwhelmed with just such joy when they see that collection of your work.
And do you have any tips in general for middle school students?
In general, I think it's really important that middle school students approach this time in their life with enthusiasm. You wake up each day and figure out how you're going to spend every moment, live it to the fullest. And with that in mind, don't stress out too much, because if you do stress out too much or worry too much, you're going to miss the magic. So really be in the moment, put yourself out there, get involved in things. I know it may seem scary at times and even overwhelming or challenging, because it's hard enough just to come to school and go to 7 classes each day. But if you really get involved, you're going to be a genuine member of the middle school family, and it's going to give back to you as much as you give to it. So just live it up and enjoy every moment.
Thank you for taking time to answer these questions. I know your insight will help a lot of students.
Thank you, Serena.